my God, I finally got it to work. My Google Hangouts was messed up because I've got two accounts, two YouTube channels. Well, I used to have my Hermit Crab channel. Now, let's get to my chat. First, I'm going to link Katie in. Let me get her. Okay, Katie, I sent you a link. Let me message her. Now, let's get to the chat. See who's in the chat. Good morning, everybody. I can see y'all now. Guys, finally got my Google Hangouts fixed. I had to uninstall the app. There's Katie.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. I went through hell trying to get the Google Hangouts app fixed.
That's funny. Oh, my gosh. I'm glad you got it working, though. That's good.
It had something to do with, okay, see, this email that's with Crime and Coffee, the email went to another channel, my Hermit Crab channel. So I had two channels on the same email, right? I deleted my Hermit Crab channel. But then I also had Google Hangouts app on my Chromebook. So I had to uninstall that because it was only wanting to let me sign in to the Hermit Crab channel when I was trying to do my live streams. It's weird.
Jeez, why does everything have to be so difficult all the time?
I know. So, how are you feeling?
Kind of like I've been hit by a Mack truck, but I'm hanging in there. How are you?
I'm good. I'm kind of tired, I think. My stomach's been hurting for days.
That's not good.
Yeah. Let's see who's all in the chat. Lisa, Cindy, Shine On, Carla, Cheryl, Pamela, Lorraine, Miss Diva's what I call her. I can't say her name. And M's Coffee Combo. Hey, M's.
Hey,
everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Katie took a bad fall. Tell them about it, Katie.
Yeah, I'm just an idiot and fell the other day while I was trying to take care of my child and hit the wrong spot at the wrong time. And I've got a spinal cord stimulator, so I have to be super careful. It's implanted in my spine, and there's leads that go up. Like, it's in my hip, and then there's leads that go up through my spine. And so I have to be careful with what I do, and somehow I just fell in the wrong spot. So I'm currently waiting to get my x-ray results back. So I guess we'll see. I don't know what I did, but it doesn't look pretty.
Are you still in a lot of pain like you was the other day?
Yes, a lot. It sucks.
Oh, my goodness. How are you taking care of the baby? You got help?
A lot of help. A lot of help.
Oh, my goodness. Bless your heart. I hope that you didn't mess anything up where you've had all those surgeries before.
We're going to find out. I was hoping to know last night or this morning, but I haven't found out yet. So we'll see.
So what's the latest on Malia? What do you know? What have you seen?
1 second. I'm getting my husband out of the door. Give me just 1 second.
Okay. Get your stuff together. It's okay. Lisa, I hope you get better soon. I don't know how Katie does it.
Sorry, I had to get my little one out this morning and my husband out just now. So,
girl, I don't know how you do it. I mean, you're more of a woman than me. I could not imagine having a little one. I mean, I have a 12-year-old, but he takes care of himself, basically. He's 12, you know.
I became disabled right around the time I got pregnant. I was told I could never have kids and that I would never become pregnant. And I wasn't this bad off when my husband and I started trying to have kids. And I knew it wasn't going to happen. Now I can't have anymore. I've got my little one. I'm done. He's 2. I had a hysterectomy last summer, so I'm completely done at this point. I mean, I think, if I could finally get my health back together, maybe I'd like to foster or adopt sometime in the future. But right now, there's no way. Like, it sucks. I hate even telling people this, but my husband and I bought the house that we live in 6 years ago, and we are about to either rent it out or sell it. And we are going to move in with my parents for a few months so I can have my knee surgery done. And this was before I even fell. And one of the x-rays I had done yesterday, I got them on a CD. One of them looks super gnarly. I'm not sure what it is. One of my friends said they think I dislocated something or broke something. But then I've got someone else who was looking at my x-rays. I'm in a medical malpractice lawsuit from a surgery that I had in 2010 on my back that I never needed. And this guy fled the country. And legally, I can't really talk about it because I'm under a gag order, but just know that he totally messed me up. And I know a nurse that currently works. She works for our law firm that's handling all of our lawsuit stuff. And she looked at all my stuff yesterday, and she thinks something's wrong with my neck. She thinks I might have ruptured or herniated a disc in my neck. And I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me right now. So I don't really know, but we are having to actually move in with my parents for probably about 6 months to a year, just because I need help. I need help with AJ, and it sucks. It's I became disabled a few years ago. I had to suck up my pride. I'm working less and less and less. And now I'm kind of giving up my independence even more to go live with mom and dad after I've moved in. I haven't lived there in 12 years. I moved out when I was 18 and never looked back. And so it's going to be interesting, but it just, it sucks. I can't do it like I should be able to. And I've had to kind of come to terms with that. So it is what it is, but
Yeah, we have to do what we have to do sometimes.
Exactly. So that's kind of what I'm just coming to terms with now. And I guess it works out because I hurt myself just on Monday, and we were already, we have talked about moving. Honestly, we've talked about it for the last few years. And now it's just kind of okay, I really need to. I've taken a few pretty bad falls over the last year and a half, and it's just not getting any better. So I need to take some time to get myself together and get better first. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and plus you have animals to take care of, and dogs are a lot of work, and you've got bigger dogs, right?
Yeah, they're outside right now. They're kind of like your 12-year-old. They kind of take care of themselves. I have help feeding them, and they have bowls and stuff that are elevated off the ground, so I don't have to bend too much, but I have help. I have a lot of help, and that's pretty much how I accomplish things, with lots of help. But my dogs, they're older. I have a 6.5-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, and a 12-year-old. So they are pretty laid back, and they're pretty chill. So, and my cat even is the same way. She pretty much takes care of herself. They're all outside right now. So,
right. Did you find Lucy a home?
No, I am still working on it. You guys, if anybody lives in the Cincinnati area or somewhere within a couple hours around, I am looking for a home for my 12-year-old Australian Shepherd mix. I've had her since she was 9 weeks old, and I absolutely hate to do this. But unfortunately, like I said, we're moving in with my parents, and my Australian Shepherd mix does not get along with their Shih Tzu. Their Shih Tzu does not like my Australian Shepherd mix. So, and my dad is super allergic to Lucy. He's not to my pit bulls, but he is to Lucy. So I am trying to find a good home for her. I've got a couple shelters that people are saying are really good around here, but that's not what I want to do. I'd rather her have a good home. Even if it's temporary for a year and, we can get her back when we move. I don't know. So it sucks. I've gotten a lot of hell for it. Let me tell you that.
I would take her in a heartbeat just to help you out, even though Lady probably wouldn't like it. See, I would like to foster dogs, but Ladybug acts like she's the sheriff. That's what we call her. We call her the sheriff. She tries to fight every dog she sees. She starts kicking up grass, how they do.
That is so funny.
Yeah, like she's big and bad. Now she is a border collie and beagle mix.
That's awesome. That's a good combo.
She is smart and so athletic. Oh my gosh. She is very intelligent.
That's awesome. My Australian Shepherd is super, super smart too. It's almost too smart for her own good. That's for sure. She's she's rotten, but I love her. And I mean, I've worked from home and I'm disabled now, but I've worked from home for the last 5 years. So they're really used to someone being here all the time. And she honestly just wants to be outside all the time. Like, she gets mad if I bring her in, and I'm sure my neighbors are looking at me like, "What the heck?" But we've got this like awning outside in this porch, and it's right next to our pool, and she just chills out there. There's water, and she'll be out there for like 12 hours sometimes, and she won't come in. So she's super
Yeah.
relaxed.
It's
I don't
because
know.
they're outside dogs. An Australian Shepherd, they're herding
Yep,
dogs. They're
absolutely, and that's why
working
she's
dogs.
she's kind of high strung at some times, like when she. Like she gets that energy built up and stuff, she can become high strung, but it's just like what you said. It's because she's a working dog. It's in her blood. So, so I'm still
Yeah.
working on it. I hope to find something. I don't know. I put it out there on Facebook, but honestly, I got so much judgment back from it that I can't deal with that right now. Like I've got enough on my own. And like I'm always the person helping others rehome dogs and helping others find dogs from shelters and fosters. And I have fostered a dog, my 6.5-year-old. Like he was a former fighting dog who was about to be put to sleep. I'm that person that steps in. Like for my son's birthday, we ask for donations to the shelters because he doesn't need anything. He has everything. And now I'm in the position where I'm looking for someone, and it just
How,
sucks.
how about looking into a rescue for Australian Shepherds,
I
Shepherd
need to do that.
mixes?
Yeah. I've looked for one. I'm looking for one through seniors too. There's one that's like an hour and 45 minutes away from where I live. And honestly, I'd take the trip. Um,
It's it's so sad. This is gonna
it is.
break
It
her
sucks. It
heart.
is. It sucks. I've cried so many times. I do not cry. I usually cry
Oh,
when I get mad. Like that's usually the time I cry, but she's been through everything with me, like through physical abuse, emotional abuse, my divorce, I mean, she's literally been through hell and back with me, just like my 10-year-old. And it sucks, but I want her to have the best home. And I think she'd be best off with like, a little old, like lonely senior or something who, someone who's
yeah.
retired and is home all the time. And she just wants to be someone's buddy. Like she is so loyal, and it sucks.
That
People are like, why can't you take her if you're taking your other two dogs? And blah, blah, blah. I'm
yeah.
like, I can't. Like, I wish I could. If I could,
Could
I would
she
make it
not
happen.
stay outside at your parents'? Could she not stay outside?
I don't think so. I don't think they have I mean, it's something that I could try, but, um,
Yeah.
I think she like, although she likes to stay outside a lot, she does still like attention, and she likes to bark
Mm,
for that attention sometimes. And my
yeah.
parents live in a neighborhood where like they're, I just feel like if she were to be out there
Yeah.
doing that, then, there'd probably be the cops called, and, so I'm working on it.
Right.
I'm asking everybody I know. I know a few people that work, in rescues and stuff like that. So we're trying to find what's best for her. We'll see. I thought a few weeks ago I was going to have to put her to sleep because like she had gotten sick, and every time she gets sick I like freak out. And she's 12. I was told when she was 6 she's not a puppy anymore. So it is what it
Yeah.
is, but it's a tough pill to swallow, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to mention it on here. You never know. Someone could hear it and
I know, I appreciate that so much. I'm trying. I had a public post on Facebook and everything, and I had gotten a lot of hell from it. Like, why can't you take her? I'm like, I'm not going to explain anything to you. I'm the person that is always trying to help everybody else. And this is the one time I hate asking for help. If I ask for help, it's because I really need it. And it sucks. Like I'm not asking for anybody to do anything. Like I'm not like, hey, pay me money so I can keep my dog, or like, it's nothing like that. I just need a good home for her. I've given her everything for the last 12 years. And now I just want her to live out her golden years in a nice home.
I honestly think your best option would be to look into a rescue for that breed, or, it doesn't matter if they're mixed breed or whatever. Some of these rescues, instead of taking her to the shelter, if you can,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. I'm going to have a lot of time over the next week. We're
she
not
would
actually
have a
moving
better
until next weekend.
chance.
So,
She would
yeah,
have a better
absolutely.
chance at finding a good owner through a rescue. I'll try to look online and help you also, because I just can't imagine. Ladybug is a border collie mix, and she is so attached to me. She totally freaks out, like when she's out on her cable. Like if I walk past her cable and she can't reach me, she does the barking thing like Lucy also,
Yeah.
for attention. But she's super, super attached to me. She's actually laying at my feet right now.
That's awesome. Dogs are great. That's what it's just. I want what's best for her. And I mean, honestly, right now, like she's not very good with little kids. And the house that we live in right now, we have a setup where she doesn't have to be next to AJ. I mean, AJ's two. She gets nervous when dogs like, or she gets nervous when little kids like run around. It's the feet. She likes to try and nip at their feet and stuff. So as soon as AJ started crawling around, we moved Lucy to get out to our backyard that's fenced in. You actually have to go like through our kitchen and then downstairs into the basement and then through the garage. And then you can get out to our backyard. And our
Mhm.
basement is like, it's right by the garage. And Lucy, being 12, has issues getting up and down the stairs and stuff. So we actually moved Lucy more downstairs. She has access to come upstairs, like in part of the kitchen, but she's separated. That way, AJ doesn't bother her. And I mean, she does great. She doesn't even bother it. It doesn't bother her. She's in her own little world and she can see us. We go up and down and we're, always with her and stuff. And she eats with the other dogs. They all eat in separate little areas, but they eat at the same time. And
Yeah.
she just fits in. She's a part of the pack. It sucks.
Right.
If there was any way that I could keep her, I absolutely would. And it just
I
sucks.
know. I know. It's sad.
I thought
Well,
like 100 different times, like, do I really have to move? And it all comes back to why am I asking that? And it's because I don't want to get rid of Lucy. Like I just don't.
yeah.
But I also can't, I have to do what's best for me and my son and my husband. And
Yeah.
I'm not in the shape that I was, before. And I'm not in the shape that I was when I had Lucy. So it just sucks. Like, but it is what it is. So,
Um, Shine on. Australian Shepherds are popular in my area. There's a lot of people that have them. I think they're pretty popular. They're awesome dogs, but Australian Shepherd's kind of like a border collie, in my opinion, because Lady, she doesn't really like little kids either. She's fine with
yeah,
my son, he's 12, but
right.
like the neighbor's little boy, she is super, super nervous of him. She doesn't like
Yeah. I mean, like, I have a little gate. It's like a 3-panel gate, and you can move it. It's not stationary. And I have it that separates like our kitchen. And AJ will go up to it and he'll pet Lucy and he'll give her snacks and stuff, but he's not in her space. Like that gate
right.
separates them. So Lucy doesn't have to worry about AJ running around. And that's her nervous little, ticks
Yeah.
that people has. And so we've accommodated and we've tried to make things work. And I'm serious.
Um,
I've debated every other day. I go back and forth. Like, do I really have to move? No, I don't. I can make this work. Okay. No, I do need to move. And it just sucks.
yeah. Lisa from West Virginia says, my best friend it has a rescue, but I'm in West Virginia. She would take and keep as long as you need her to, and not ever a problem getting her back. I wish I could help. Where are you? And she says that she's just right over from Ohio, right across the
Okay.
bridge from me.
Oh, shut up. Seriously? Okay. Hey,
She,
can you email me? I'm going to put my email in here. Seriously, that's amazing. If you can help me, I'm right over the bridge. So I'm going to send that to you. Lisa,
that's
thank
why
you. That is so sweet.
that's why I wanted to mention it.
WKRP. Yes. Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, Lisa, please email me. That would be, thank you, Cece. I might have some help for Lucy now because of you. So thank you so much. She's
Well, you're
45 minutes away
welcome.
from me.
Well, you never know who's listening that's close in that area that could hear this and be like, "Oh, I know someone's got a rescue," and that happened. Lisa knows someone. Lisa's awesome.
I so appreciate it. She is so sweet. Oh my
She
gosh.
is. She's always really nice.
Yes. Thank you so
So
much, Lisa. That is so nice.
I had to go get some coffee. I can't see the chat. Okay.
I don't do coffee. I do Monster. I went to Kroger
I'm
and had to pick up the necessities and I had to get my Monster for our crime coffee and Monster.
Crime Coffee and Monster. That's what I'm gonna start titling it.
I have to have my Monster. I was serious. I was dead serious. I'm like, how can I get Monster to sponsor me? Because I drink so much of their crap. Yeah, they only sponsor people who are like big into sports. I was trying.
Girl, when I come up for that concert, you should try to meet up with me.
Oh, for
I'm
sure.
gonna,
No, I will. Absolutely. That's in September, right?
yeah, September.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We need to do like dinner or something. That'd be awesome.
yeah, it will.
I'm literally right over the river. I'm moving about 40 minutes away or so. But I'm still not that far at all. And I'm still going to have this house at some point. I don't know if we're going to be selling it or renting it or really what we're going to be doing. I don't know. We're still trying to figure that out. So,
Okay, now let's do some crime.
yes, ma'am.
What do you know? Any updates about Malia?
The only thing that I've really seen is, let me see if I can find it.
Get on Google too and look.
They has suspended their searching for Malia. They said that they have taken in so many different leads and they have followed all of those leads and that they just don't have any more credible leads to act on, is my understanding. They said that they're still going to like keep in touch and they're still going to like work on the behind the scenes stuff, and that they are going to come back and search if they get any more leads that may, turn into something. But at this point, Texas EquiSearch is done. I know you were talking about yesterday, they were searching his old mail route and, he had alluded to people. I listened to like an interview yesterday or something and read an article where he even told his mother-in-law, and Brittany confirmed it, that, if he ever murdered a body, he would know where to put it in Roche Aaron and no one would find it. And like, why would you tell anybody that, let alone your mother-in-law? And yeah, so that's messed up.
Well, that just tells me that he was thinking about. I hear myself echoing. That he was thinking about murdering someone. He's capable of it.
It's
Normal
ridiculous.
people, normal people don't think things like that. When I go hiking back in the mountains or down in caves, or used to before I was injured, I did. I didn't think, oh my God, this would be a great place to hide a body.
Right.
Normal people don't think things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was up to something from a long time ago. I am reading that they're offering a $5,000 reward for information about Malia's disappearance.
Yes,
It's Crime Stoppers is offering that. So
yes, I
that's
saw
good.
that.
Um, it doesn't always work though, unfortunately. As we know, like with Savannah Spurlock, they had a $10,000 reward, I think, and that, or maybe it was 20,000. Well, that expired, I think, on the 15th. So and they didn't find her. So I know that it's encouraging to see that someone's gonna, offer that reward or whatever, but it doesn't always turn up anything. I hope it does though in this case for sure. I hope someone needs that $5,000 bad enough to squeal or sing like a canary.
I'm putting your truecrimetruth@gmail.com in here. I don't think Lisa's
Thank
seen
you.
it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Um, y'all make sure to go to Katie's channel. Let me go get the link and subscribe to her if you're not subscribed. She's got an awesome channel.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
When's your hubby going to get back into this?
Sometime soon, probably after we move. We've got a Carly Goose episode we've been working on. It's our part 2 of some of the stuff that we have kind of put together, and we need to get that out. I know this is his busy season at work. He works in mortgages. This is their super busy season. He's probably going to be at work longer tonight than he has all year. So he is completely overwhelmed and immersed in this crap. So hopefully sometime soon.
So JoJo's wanting us to talk about the text messages. Basically, those text messages, we don't know who she was communicating with unless Katie knows. I don't know. But I think she was talking about a previous incident when he was supposed
Yeah.
to have taken Malia to daycare, but instead he snuck her back in the house for some unknown reason and hid her in the bedroom. She was in the bedroom.
Yeah, that's what I'm understanding. And she mentioned, like, I don't know why I didn't check, except she said she knew she had left with the other 2 kids, so why would she go back and check to see if she was there? She had no reason to or whatever. So yeah, that, I think that was from a different conversation, or I think that was from a different time previously as well, just based on everything that Quanell X had said in the press conference or whatever that him and Brittany did actually a week from today, a week ago.
Yeah.
And then I saw those messages after that, and it just kind of gave the whole situation a little bit more context and made me understand a little bit more about what they were talking. It sounds like that was a way, in my understanding and the way that I took those messages, is it sounded like it was a way to kind of explain how she knew that this might have been going on previously and kind of back up why she thinks that he might have been abusing her and kind of give some evidence and some proof towards that. But
Yeah.
in my opinion, it just makes her look like an ass. So, I mean, you can't, she needs to shut up. Like we've talked about it before, her and Quanell X just need to stop talking, because if anybody incriminates them at this point, it's going to be her and him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's done incriminated herself by coming out and defending him, and then coming out and saying she thought he was abusing Malia physically and sexually. Well, that just makes herself look horrible,
Oh, yeah.
because she allowed this man to abuse her child. She left her child in his care, having suspicions of him abusing her. I mean, she put her child in that situation, and that child's gone now, and she needs to be held accountable for that.
Yep. That's
Just like
sick.
they did Courtney Bell. That is sick. And this damn excuse about her being abused when she was a kid, that should have made her ass more protective of Malia.
For sure. For sure. That infuriates me. That's one
Me
thing.
too.
And some of my subscribers have said, like Shug Trotter, she said, oh my gosh, you sound so upset or so angry. And I'm like, I am. This is one thing. Like, I don't talk about kids too often who are in situations like this, because it really bothers me. And to be honest, if I would have known these things prior to talking about Malia, I probably wouldn't have talked about her. And I don't want anyone to take that the wrong way, but I do want everyone to know that I was sexually abused as a kid by my grandfather from the time I was 6 until about 13 or 14. I've literally blocked out almost all of my childhood. And that's why it's really hard for me to talk about kids in those situations, because it takes me back to where I was. And I have PTSD
Exactly.
from that. And there's a few different situations, like my medical malpractice thing and then my ex trying to kill me. There's those 3 situations that really put me back in those times. And when we start talking about husbands being abusive, or when we start talking about little kids and when they're abused, and she was 4, she couldn't do anything to protect herself. And I was done being abused before I said anything. And I'll be straight up honest with y'all, I was high as a kite on pain medicine after knee surgery. And I was at a funeral, a viewing for a funeral, and I straight up asked my mom, hey, my grandfather's not going to be here, is he? And she's like, I don't think so. Why? And I just spewed out of like word vomit all over the place. And she's like, what in the, like, I caught her off guard. We're at a funeral. Like, it was just, so we went home that day, and she's like, hey, I just need to make sure that like you were being true. Not that I was lying, but she's like, I just want to make sure that like you understand what you said. And I'm like, yeah. And I just don't ever want to see him again. It's not, I don't want don't call the cops. Don't tell anybody anything. And she's like, well, I can't do that. Right. So, the next year was in and out of the courts, in and out of, Montgomery County, Ohio court system and their family courts, and dealing with Mary Montgomery, one of the, I'll never forget her name, because she's part of the reason why I became a licensed private investigator. She gave me hope. But that's the reason why I don't like to talk about those things. But I'm actually glad that I did. I'm glad that I didn't know about these things before I started talking about Malia, because I wouldn't have continued on. And I feel like it brings awareness to the situation, where like even Cardi B came out and has said, women, do not leave your kids with your boyfriend, period. I don't freaking care. Don't do it. Now, in my opinion, if you're dating a guy that you can't leave your kid with, what the hell are you dating them for? So it just makes me
Exactly.
confused, like, and I don't understand why women need to man up. Like, I know that kind of sounds funny, but
They
get your
would
crap
rather
together, dude.
they would rather have a man than their kids. They put these men over their kids.
Your kid is going to love you more than that boyfriend or man ever freaking will. So I don't understand what you
Exactly.
need that for. That makes me so mad. Now her little girl is gone. Like, gone.
I love my hubby, but I love my son more. And I would never pick him over my son. And if I thought that he abused my kid or thought he was like that, I damn sure wouldn't be with him.
Now, I just want to ask, you don't have to tell me, but is your husband your child's father?
No, he is not.
Okay. See,
No, he's not.
I love that you say that. I'm going to be 100% honest, because that's your own flesh and blood. That is your protector. Now, my mom and dad have been married ever since my mom got pregnant with me when she was 18. Got married while my mom was pregnant. Like, it was the religious thing to do. So they did it. They almost didn't make it a bunch of different times, but my parents had told me, we were together before you. We are going to be together, leave. And there is nothing that you or your brother can do or say that would make, that would basically come in between. And it wasn't anything like we weren't doing anything. It was just a conversation kind of like this. But it's because of different situations. Like, when you're married to someone and then you have kids with them. I was married to my husband and then we had AJ. And I get torn. I'm like, these two human beings are my whole entire life, and
Yeah.
20s and 30s, like there was a situation that came around where drugs are really, really bad and prevalent where I am, and people OD all the time, and a lot of people steal money from their families and stuff, and that's kind of how it came up. We knew someone, and they actually ended up ODing and dying about a year after this all came up and stuff, but he had stolen from his parents and stuff, and so it was just a conversation that had come up. But at the same time, like, if anybody ever knew that, I was being abused by the other party, they would stick up for me. Like, it was my dad's dad who abused my dad. As soon as he found out, my mom had to stop him from wanting to go kill him. I'm not even kidding you. Like, he had no idea, and he felt like it was his fault. So Brittany knew this was going on to her little girl. And I was 16 when I told my dad. I was 16 years old when I told my dad and my mom. This little girl's 4. She knew this was going on, and she still left her and did not protect her. Like, my dad didn't have any idea, but still felt like it was his fault because he should have known.
I know what that feels like to not be protected.
Me too.
Feels like to not be protected. I told one time, I was 4 years old when that started happening to me. I told one time I wasn't believed. It kept happening until I was about 8 years old. And then I went and lived with my grandfather. He was my whole world, but he had mental illness. And, in 1992, he committed suicide. So I've been through hell too, like you, girl. And it just really pisses me off when I hear that woman come out and say that she had suspicions of him abusing her child, and the bitch still left her kid there. Excuse my language.
Hey, no, that crap. You don't have any reason to apologize. That is one thing that makes me so upset. Like, my dad seriously wanted to go, like, he was ready to go to jail for the rest of his life because of what his dad did to me. And then you have these jackwagons over here that are like, oh, I'm just going to leave. No offense, but her dad was already dead. There was nothing she could have done to get him to be okay. But she could have done everything in the world to make sure her daughter was still alive. And that's sickening. She knew. And then she didn't do anything while she was gone. She supposedly got these text messages that support him being crazy and them having a fight and him taking out all of this on her after she left for the funeral or whatever, or for the memorial. She didn't go to the funeral. She went to a memorial service.
Yeah.
Not to discredit anything, but, and then she's like, oh, well, I have proof. Well, why didn't you send, like we talked about it the other day, why didn't you send someone over? Why didn't you send a squad car over just to check on them? Why wouldn't you do that? Like, I just don't understand. Like, even though you weren't there, you still could have done something to protect her. Why didn't you call your family? And then the thing that makes me even more mad is that the older son, it's my understanding that Malia and her older brother have the same father. I'm not going to blame him. I'm not going to bash him. I want nothing to do with that. I've heard 2 different sides to that story. I'm not sure which is true. But I do know that when he went to pick up his son, he asked to see Malia. I was told 2 different things. I was told an aunt asked to see Malia, and I was also told her dad asked to see Malia. So I don't know if they both did or if that was just confused. But Darian refused to let her own dad see him. Right there, I'd have been like, oh, hell no. I don't give a shit if she is throwing up on the toilet right now. I want to see my daughter. So that throws red flags at me too. Like, why didn't you guys think that something was wrong? That's all. Like, this little girl cannot fend for herself. She has a brain injury. She's not even just like your average 4-year-old.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know what that brain injury did to her, but some of those brain injuries can like put people back to like, when they're a year old.
Yeah, her family said that they noticed a big difference in her after she had the brain injury. She wasn't the same Malia. Thank you, Carla, for the super chat. Coffee's on me today, ladies. Love you,
Carla.
sweetie. Thank you.
I love Carla. She is.
Carla's awesome. One of us is buffering or cutting in and out. Let's see. All right, we're good now.
Okay.
I'm in the kitchen, so I'm right by the little tower that's hooked to the TV. So
I'm in my kitchen too.
some of our audio was messed up the other day when I went back. I didn't know it was that bad when I went back and watched. But it's
It
all good.
happens. We'll learn it.
It happens. We'll learn.
People tell me that all the time. They're like, do you not have a microphone? The other day when I did an update on Kenneth Howard being found using my phone, and some jackwagon was like, do you not have a microphone? You should take a few dollars and invest in a microphone that sounds better than this Fisher Price 1980s microphone. I'm gonna be like, you jack, like, you get on here. Can you please make a YouTube video and let me criticize you?
Yeah. The mic that I use, it's connected to, it's built into this hook verse. It's Bluetooth. It picks up really good, but they don't want to stay on my ears. But I saw like a little podcast kit on Amazon the other day. It comes with like the mic, everything. It hooks into your laptop or Chromebook, and it was like $100. So I don't know.
Yeah, I bought a mic. I have a mic that's $200, and I still sound like crap sometimes. So it's not always about that. It's about your connection and everything. Like,
it's about the connection.
And some people they don't realize that, like, on live, some people ask, they're like, don't you check your audio before you post this? Actually, no, because I'm posting this as I'm recording. Like, a live is totally different. I try to make sure that I put in my description and in my title now that it's a live, because I got so many people. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to tell, they get mad that I say hi to everybody. I'm going to tell everybody hi because you're the reason I'm here. What's the difference?
I'm going to do what I want to on my channel.
Get your own channel, jackass.
It is annoying when people say hi to people for 15 minutes on a live show.
I don't even have that many people to say hi to for 15 minutes.
I would just say, hi, everyone. Now, let's get started here.
Right? Oh, I know. People are crazy.
Okay, let me see what I can find about. What do you think about Marlene? How do you say it? You're a Stogway?
Oh my gosh, I hate that.
Pronounce her name for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going with Marlon Lopez because that's her married name. That's all. I think it's like you're a Stogway or something.
So Lopez is her married name or her maiden name?
Correct. Lopez is her married name. I checked out. I was Facebook stalking.
Okay.
And I've got a bunch of pictures and stuff. I came across their wedding pictures. I think I may try and put together a video with.
Yeah.
They got married back in 2017, and let me double check. I checked out his Facebook profile,
and he was devastated. I knew when he done the first news conference. I had said on my live stream, I don't think he's involved. His face, you could tell he was.
Oh yeah, no, he was. Oh, for sure, he was devastated. Yeah, his name is Giovanni Lopez, and they got married. I hope I'm saying the first name right. They got married on January 29th of 2017.
Yeah. She was, what, still in high school?
She was 19, still in high school. She did have another kid, so I don't know if maybe she was. I know a lot of times, like, my husband was 17 when he graduated. I had just turned 18. So I think maybe my husband's got a summer birthday, so he started early. So I was wondering if maybe she took some time off because she had a kid. I heard her kid's like between 2 and 4. I'm not sure. So she had him when she was like 16, 17, something like that. So I was thinking maybe she like took a year off or something. I don't know how that works when you're in high school. My mom was pregnant with me in the 80s when she was in high school, and she was able to get like a late start because she had morning sickness or whatever. So I don't know what they do, but she was still in high school and had a kid already, and now this baby's on life support, and I've been told is completely brain dead, and they are just praying for a miracle right now.
Her father, Marlon's father, blames the anti-immigrant laws for the delay in the investigation. It's what AOL saying.
I don't know how I feel about that, because there was a lot of things, and I don't mean it mean, but there were a lot of people that came out and said yesterday that the reason why a lot of investigating hadn't been done and why the car that she was driving hadn't been reported sooner. Her body was found in a trash can, and she was gone for weeks. And most
I
of the time, like
know.
I was just reading something with Texas EquiSearch, and they just said if Malia was dumped in a trash can, she'll never be found. That was their assumption. So this lady was put in a trash can that was never taken to the curb, I guess. And I'm assuming it had to start stinking. It started stinking within a few days. I don't know what
That's what I
exactly
was
brought
thinking.
them. Yeah, and it's getting warm,
Well,
even in
they got
Chicago.
there. The reason they was on to that woman is because she claimed that that baby stopped. She just had a baby.
Yeah, I
They
get no. Oh, I got problems with that. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I got problems with that because
right,
why in the world would she come out yelling that she has a baby and that she just had a baby and she needed help and the baby was in distress? Yet nobody said we need to check you out. She had blood on her, I was understanding, but it was because she had cut open Marlon and that wasn't even her own blood. So why didn't like I understand that pregnancy is a lot different now than it was before. Like I had a C-section, so I was in the hospital
but
two
you would
nights. But
think that they would have wanted to examine her just giving birth at home, make sure she's okay.
well, they asked her to, and she declined, is what I'm understanding. That should have never been okay. They should have said no, especially with because this isn't the first time this has happened. And this lady had had her tubes tied. Like there's more to it. And I know they didn't know this when they were, approaching the house and all that, but I just don't understand why it was okay. And I'm not blaming the paramedics or anything, but I just don't understand when they determined that there was this baby that was supposedly born and then the baby went to the hospital. I'm not exactly sure what transpired after that. And I know that they did a blood test and a DNA test and confirmed that it was Marlon's baby even before they found her. But I don't understand why they weren't looking at her from the very beginning when that whole story set up. And then all the things I've seen on Facebook, she's been setting us up on her own since February. This lady's
Yeah, I
sick.
mean, this has been all over the news, national, especially in Chicago. Was nobody suspicious that this older lady got blood all over her, claimed she just gave birth at home?
Yeah,
I mean,
you that
that would have made me suspicious.
absolutely. They should have, that should be a law that you have to be checked because you had a baby. And honestly, I mean, if you could have some sort of bleeding, you aren't necessarily okay because you gave birth.
Yeah,
I know a lot of times you are, and a lot of times you can go, if you have a baby early in the morning at a hospital, hey, they were there like 12 hours. I
right.
understand that, but you still have to make sure you're okay. And that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why red flags weren't raised everywhere in that instance. Just why did no one see that as a problem?
I know, like,
Oh, there's just a baby and she's got blood all over. Like that would be immediately. I know I think the worst, and my mom's always like, "Stop trying to be a negative Nancy." And blah, blah, blah. I'm a realist. Like I know things aren't always rainbows and butterflies. You know what I mean? So I know that I do think the worst in people sometimes, and I do think the worst. I expect the worst and hope for the best, but the worst usually happens. So I'm trying to be prepared. Those are things that I would be thinking, but I know that paramedics and stuff, they're not trained cops. They think differently. Their goal is to simply save the baby or whatever their call was about. And I know there are requirements when they do have to take someone in and when they don't. But I think that this should definitely be looked at. Like they need to have something like Marlon's Law or something where if someone is claiming that they had a child, they have to be looked at because you would have instantly been able to tell she never had a baby. And they might have been able to find Marlon the day the baby was born.
okay. Are we back? It says that I'm live. Yeah, okay. Hold on, Katie. I know your email by heart now, girl. Okay. I sent you an invite if you want to call back in. If you don't, that's okay. Someone else can call in if they want to. I don't know how many people can call into Google Hangouts at a time. I think several. Katie got disconnected. I sent her another link. Hey, Puss in Boots. Christy. I'm reading the chat. Oh, there you are, girl.
Hey.
I don't know. It lost connection for some reason.
It happens.
Technical difficulties.
Technology's great until it fails or malfunctions.
Hey, little queen. Yeah, back to Marlon. I saw like a little news video and it had her husband leaving like the morgue, the coroner's office, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
And he was, oh my gosh, he was tore all to pieces. It broke my heart for him.
Oh, I cannot imagine.
Oh, the anguish and oh my gosh, the sadness. It was just.
I mean, can you imagine like thinking
she was beautiful. She's a beautiful.
Oh, she was
girl.
Gorgeous. And she's,
yes.
9 months pregnant, about to have a baby, or, 8 or 9 months pregnant. And you think, hey, I'm about to have, I've got a gorgeous wife. I've got this going on and I've got a baby who's about to come. And now all of a sudden you've lost your wife and you may lose that kid. Like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
how.
And her little boy has lost his mom.
Yeah. It's awful. Freaking awful.
She was young, but I reckon she was a really good mom.
I'm sure. I mean, I think being young, it kind of makes you have to be. You have to. I mean, I know there's some that aren't and some that give up custody and whatever, but a lot of times I think it makes you grow up.
Yeah.
My mom was 18 when she had me, and she's a fantastic mom. I mean, we had our differences, growing up and stuff. I wasn't always going to agree with her, but she was a great mom. Still is a great mom.
I'm not that close with my mom. I hardly ever talk to her. I really talk to her. Not much.
My mom and I had our differences for a while. There were a few years where we didn't get along. I didn't really talk to her very much, but we were both going through some stuff, and she's my mom, and we're great. I mean, if we weren't now at this point, there would be no way that I'd be able to move in with them for a few months, but.
Right. So are you going to cover the, when AJ Friend's murderers go to trial? Are you going to cover that?
When is that?
I don't know. I'm going to look up and see if there's any new information right now.
I would like to, but I guess it depends on when it is and what they got going on.
Let's see.
I'm heating up some pizza.
Here's some. I was lighting incense a few minutes ago, rattling stuff. But it says officers recognized for outstanding work on AJ's investigation. Well, they didn't do the CPS. Sure didn't do a outstanding job on protecting AJ. The last thing I see about his parents is that they pled not guilty. Are they freaking serious? Are they going to try to say they led them to the body?
I think a lot of times when they plead not guilty, it's just because they're trying to not get the harshest sentence. If they would have gone up there and pled guilty, I mean, there's no trial. There's no one to feel empathetic with you. There's no one that, I mean, all it takes is one person to believe you might be innocent. You can get a hung jury right there. So I think that there's a lot of games that play into this. A lot of criminals do it. Like my grandfather tried to plead insanity when he had to go to court. Yeah, that delayed it all about a year. So I'm like 17 at this time thinking, okay, I'm going to be in and out of court. Court was supposed to come up. And then all of a sudden, like a month before court, they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, your grandfather pleaded insanity. Now he has to go do all this testing and it's going to be longer. Well, he wasn't insane. He was just a jackass. And finally, he pled guilty after the fact. He realized the horse and pony show was over and there was nothing he was going to do. And he got 16 years, but he got 4-year sentences, but he was able to serve them concurrently to where he only served 4 years. So he got lucky. If he wouldn't have pled guilty, he likely would have had to serve all of those 16 years. He died a few years ago. Actually, he died about 7 years ago. He would have died in prison. So
Yeah.
I think people do that because they're trying to get a lesser sentence. They're trying to get a lesser charge. There's a lot of different things, but honestly, it puts the victims through so much. Like everybody who loved AJ, his grandparents, nieces and nephew, or not nieces, aunts and uncles, like cousins, I mean, it puts them through a lot too. And I understand that it's the parents that are being charged, but even then, everybody that knew him and people that aren't even related are going to be affected by this. And sometimes they just need to shut up and go to jail.
Yeah, they do. By one article I read about Darian Vince this morning. Well, it was about the Texas EquiSearch. The guy basically, he doesn't know where to look, and I don't think he thinks they're going to find Malia. By the way,
No, he knows that she's dead.
yeah, he knows that she's dead. We all know that she is.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm trying to figure out when he killed her. Did he, just because she wasn't caught outside on surveillance, don't mean that she died that day. He could have just not let her out the house. So. But I think that they probably, when her father or whoever asked to see her when they picked up her older brother, that she was probably beat up that day where he had been abusing her, or he had already murdered her.
That's definitely possible. I'd like to know what day that was. And I'd like to know if...
It was on Friday, wasn't it? Wasn't it on Friday when they picked up the older boy?
I thought it was Thursday. See, I can't remember. There's been so many times that it's been back and forth. I don't know. I'd also be curious to see... I know we saw Darian and Malia following Darian into the apartment on the 30th. I know we see Darian coming out on the boy, KV, came in and out anytime in between there without Malia. I think that would tell us when she died.
Right.
If she was not shown on the first, but they left, they came back. I think they would be able to tell for sure what day she died. But I know it sucks and it's weird to talk about, but decomposing bodies smell really bad. It's like, I have never come up close and personal with that, but I've heard it described, like if you've ever had a dog that's had parvo, it's a smell that like you will never get out of your nose. And as soon as you smell it, you know exactly what it is. It is this like metallic, nasty smell that like I can't even describe it. As soon as I smell it, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's parvo going around here. You can smell it. And that's what a lot of people say that human decomp is like. You can smell it from feet and feet away, depending on how long that body, like I bet you Marlon's body reeked. She was there for weeks. So depending on how long she was there.
Why the hell didn't they get rid of her body? That's what I was thinking. If it was in a trash can out back, that had to have smelled.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's see what, hold on a minute. What the chat is saying. Puss in Boots is referring to the AJ case. Wouldn't surprise me if they falsified documents to cover their butt because of their workload was high.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know if there's legally anything that you could charge the caseworkers for, but they definitely don't need to be caseworkers anymore because they should have done something. They should have reached out to the proper authorities, who is ever over them, and said, look, we've got too many cases. I can't cover all these cases.
Yeah.
We need help.
Yep. I know, like, my husband goes through that with his job, but they're not dealing with somebody's life. Like, they're dealing with, mortgage documents. And I know that can matter if someone's going to go to closing or not. So I know it's important, but it's nothing like, he's under immense stress because they're so busy. Like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be one of the longest, busiest days of the year for him. And so I understand what that could be like on the other side. But at the same time, these are lives. Literally, lives can be lost. And we've seen that. We've seen that in Chicago. We've seen that in now outside of the Houston area. We saw it out of New York. All of these cases involve CPS or whatever they call them in that state or county. and they're failing them. So whatever system we have in place is not freaking working. It's just not. Or these people suck and they need to reevaluate who they hire, and they need to give them different checks. They need to like check up on their work, not just, I mean, sometimes I have my contractors up my butt with what I do. And again, no lives are at risk right now. So sometimes checks and balances need to be put in place. And I'm not saying they weren't, but when these things keep happening and it's a governmental system, we've got to revamp something. It's just not working. We are failing our kids, and there are going to be more and more kids that die. Malia was number 56. Number 56 on the missing Texas children list. Actively missing, there are 56.
Yeah.
That's sick. There should never be a missing child. Never.
Yeah. And how did they find some of those cases, allegations against them unfounded? That house was a pigsty. It wasn't even fit for a hog to live in.
That's awful. That's awful. How could you have your kid in there?
At CPS, when they make did they warn the parents before they done home checks?
So I'm pretty sure they get a notification. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they know. Like, I don't.
Not around here. If you report somebody to CPS, they show up at your door. They don't call you and tell you they're coming.
See, my neighbor, I deal with, there's someone that rents the house directly next door to me, and they've been here for a good 4 or 5 years. Like, this lady neglects the shit out of all of her kids, and it sucks. She's got like 6 of them. This one kid came out. I was pregnant at the time, so it's been almost 3 years. He came up to my door. I have a video doorbell, so he was recording, and he hits my doorbell, and he is crying his eyes out. It's like, I don't know, 8 something in the morning. I'm like, Pierre, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And he's like, my mom's going to kill me. She's going to beat me up. I missed the school bus and blah, blah, blah. He's like, can you take me to school? I'm like, okay, well, the middle school's a mile this way. The elementary is a mile that way. Okay, cool. I get ready. I get in the car real quick. You know, this kid had me driving him to a select school. It's like one of these, like, special schools or something, 30 minutes away. I had to get on the highway and everything. I'm a licensed private investigator at the time, shaking in my boots like, holy crap, this kid's going to go missing and it's going to be my fault because I took him. He's like, I don't know, 8 or 9. I'm like, he asked me, and I've talked to his mom. I actually talked to her this morning. I know who she is, but she does not know me. You know, she doesn't know me from Adam. So
right.
I've got her kid, and I'm thinking it's literally, I didn't want him to walk. It was cold. I didn't want him to walk down the street, and I didn't want him to get his ass beat by his mom. He's like crying. I probably still have the video on my app. And
she must really punish him.
You know what he told me in the car? He finally told me, he said, thanks for taking me. My mom's asleep. She would have killed me. Awesome. So your mom's sleeping while I'm super pregnant and driving you to school. Well, he's like trying to be, this was like 3 years ago or so. He's like trying to be initiated in a gang now. Like, I see these people all the time next door and I hate it. Like, I live on the outskirts of Cincinnati and this kid is messing with the wrong people and it drives me insane. And I know one of the local cops, like my husband grew up with them. He's known him since junior high or even elementary. We talk to him all the time. And I know CPS shows up at their house all the freaking time because they don't go to school, because they're late to school. They rent this house and people have been in and out of this house. Like the maintenance guys, they'll be in and out of there for 3 days straight, taking out doors that are completely busted, windows. Like, they're redoing this house every few months because these people destroy it. I don't understand why they're still there, but they have CPS come over all the time. And when they don't answer their door, the cops come. And this lady has like 14 open warrants on her and somehow still gets public assistance to have a Section 8. Like, there's like 1 or 2 houses around here that have Section 8 where people get paid money to live there and whatever, and it pays for part of their rent or something. It's a nice house before they destroy it. She still gets paid, and she has all these open warrants, and she won't get arrested because she has so many kids. She has told the judge, you won't take me to jail. You got to take care of 6 kids then.
Yeah, it's what it is it's HUD, and HUD pays ever who they're written from, you know.
Yeah, that's why they've been there for so long, I think, because I cannot imagine that the house on the other side of me is rented, but it's not Section 8. We know the owner. He rents it out like a lease option. And there's someone actually about to move in now. And there's no way he would be in and out of this house fixing it. Like when I rented the house before I bought it. I was there for 2 years. I never wanted them there. I'm like, this is my space. Like if I mess something up, I'm going to fix it. I took pride in the house that I was renting at the time. These people destroy it. They don't care. They get government assistance. And I'm not bashing on that at all. Like, I've applied for disability. I'm disabled. So please don't take any of that the wrong way. It just sucks
Right.
when someone, like, she has been in trouble. She has had her kids taken from her. She has CPS on her door. I'm not even kidding you. I bet once a week, and that might be an underestimate. And they still take care of her and her kids, and she doesn't do anything except for continue to get in trouble. I'm pretty sure she's like selling her body and or drugs as well. Like, she has people in and out of there all the time. And I'm always concerned. I'm like, these guys look like they are some rough guys, and you've got them around your kids, like little girls. There's one girl, she's like 3, and she's around all these guys that just come in and out. And it breaks my heart because I don't ever want anything to happen to her. I had told my husband before I got pregnant, like, we had honestly thought, I didn't know she had 6 kids at the time, but Pierre was like the sweetest little boy. And I'm like, I wish upon everything that we could just adopt him. He would be the best kid. Like, him and his brother and sister were always trying to come help me clean up my yard and like plant things. They're so sweet. They're like, can I help you bring in your groceries? Well, now I've seen the difference in them from the last few years and how her mother, I hear them it sucks, but I hear them, what sounds like them getting their butt beat and them screaming back and forth. And I had gotten a pool installed, and when I found out like a week later or something, when they came back, they had called 911 on my neighbors because Pierre was running down the street in the rain with no shoes on with a black eye. And the cops showed up. Like, and honestly, like, I couldn't call the cops on these people because I'd be afraid that the people she hangs out with would target me. And it's a shame. Kids should not have to be put. I would not be surprised if I hear that one of her kids have died in the next few years in the news. And that breaks my heart, like, into pieces, because I feel like, being her next door neighbor, I should be able to do something, but I can't.
Yeah, that's sad. Oh my gosh. And one of them had a black eye. Some people don't deserve children.
Not at all.
I just could never, just even imagine giving my son a black eye. Oh my gosh, he's my everything.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what makes me upset, is just, I thought about homeschooling my kid. Like,
about my hubby, my son comes before him. I will always pick my son. And I lost my train of thought.
Good for you, girl.
I just can't imagine,
No. I'm the kind of person who worries so much that, like, even me taking my son to my mom and dad this morning so he could go to swim lessons, and my mom and dad watch him on Fridays. They call it AJ Friday. Like, I'm the person that overanalyzes things, and I'm like, what if this is the last time I see him? What if something happens to him? And then I get so worried about all of that sometimes I can't enjoy the fun times because I'm so worried about if something might happen. And I've had to understand that about myself and kind of try to calm myself down. But to think that there are people out there that could seriously give a crap less about these kids, and not just one, this lady has 6, like, and it's all over, and it just sucks. I know that, like, having kids is a very religious thing, and it's like, part of the Bible and stuff like that. And I hate that I feel this way because, I am a Christian and I believe in God and stuff, but I feel that sometimes people don't, like you said, they don't deserve children. And I wanted kids, but was told from a teenager that I'd never be able to have kids because of my medical issues. And I know someone specifically, she's on YouTube all the time. Her and her husband cannot have kids, and they want to adopt or foster. And every time a case like this comes up, it breaks her heart because she's like, I could have given them a home. And I know what the people have to go through to try and foster and adopt. And they have to jump through hoops. It really sucks that you can just have sex and open your legs and have a kid when there are people out there that suffer, and they, like, to get approved for fostering or adopting, you have to jump through hoops. They tear your life apart. And for what? I understand, because, like, when I talked to you about the Marcus Faisal case, it's very similar. It was the kid that they put in the closet, they left. It was a foster kid. And so I understand that, you do need to protect, but they even searched these people and they tore up their life, and this kid still died. So it just sucks. It's a shame that it can be so easy to have a kid when someone doesn't deserve them, and they're not going to take care of them, when there are so many other people out there that could or would be willing to. And I mean, if you don't want the kid, there are so many states that have I think it's like a safe haven law or something, take your baby under so many months to the fire station, to a hospital, and you're not asked any questions. You don't have to take care of that baby anymore. So I don't understand why people take it to that extent. Or, in this case, they're trying to make it sound like maybe Darian took it out on Malia, that him and Brittany got in a fight. So why do you take your business out on this pure innocent child? She did nothing. She didn't have time to do something. You know what I mean? Like, how can you piss somebody off in 4 years that bad to do that?
I'm just not buying that he took it. I mean, he may have took it out on Malia, but he had already been abusing Malia. I really believe that.
Off thing, and she was not being abused, which is kind of what it sounds like his family may be alluding to. Like his brother, when he was very nonchalant about stuff. It makes me think that they're going to try and play this against Brittany and that Brittany is lying. I'll be very curious to see what ends up happening and when we find out who did what, because I think it's going to be a very similar to like the Kelsey Barrett case, where you have Crystal Kenny saying, Patrick did this, but I was involved. I honestly think Crystal Kenny killed Kelsey Barrett. That's my honest opinion. So there's going to be reasonable doubt. So they're going to play each other against each other. And as far as I know, I've checked to see if Brittany has been charged with anything. As of last night, she has not, unless they have not made it public, which when they charged Darian, they made it public almost immediately. So I would think that they would do the same for her. I would expect some sort of play each other against each other. I think that's going to be their defense.
Yeah, she's going to be charged, and they do have that petition on change.org that you can sign, to demand, that she be charged because of her statements of saying that she thought Darian had been abusing Malia physically, sexually, and then she left the child there, and the child's gone, allegedly murdered, and probably burned. Her ass should be in trouble too.
For sure. She knew. That's neglect. You knew. Now, if she didn't know, and this was honestly an honest mistake, and she thought that she could trust Darian, and she found out after the fact that she couldn't, that's a completely different story. Completely different. But she came out and said, her and Quanell X are going to get her butt arrested. They came out and said she knew. She knew. And this wasn't something that she knew for a short period of time. This is something that she knew since the brain injury. She made it sound like he might have caused that. And this happened back a few months ago. There's been an investigation into them and how they treated Malia. I don't know if it was just the mother. I've heard it was actually the mother and the biological father that were being investigated.
Yeah. How does he play into to that?
I'm not sure. I've heard different things. I know different counties and, again, different states do things differently. And people were saying that he was involved because he is the biological father, so he would have to be stated on those documents. I also think that, again, I don't know anything about Texas. This is just my experience talking here, but I almost think that maybe in an instance like this where there's such a dramatic injury, it wasn't just a little bump. She had to have multiple brain surgeries. I think when it comes to that, they need to weigh all options, and they need to determine whether it was coming from Brittany's residence, or I think that the father's name is Craig. I don't know if it's the last name or the first name.
Craig Davis.
Okay, so Craig Davis. So thank you. They could be crap, I forgot. Oh no, I forgot where I was going with that. They could be trying to figure out which side it was coming from, and since it was still an open investigation, they hadn't declared one way or another. And honestly, I think that from what I have seen in this case, I think that was the case. I really don't think her father had anything to do with the abuse. I think that it was, it might have been oversight. Maybe he saw some things and just didn't, overlooked it or whatever. Didn't want to report it, but I really don't think he was involved in it at all. And I think that he's going to blame himself a lot for what has happened. And honestly, that's the worst punishment he could ever have.
Oh my gosh, if my son's dad showed up at my door and my hubby said that he couldn't see his own son, he would knock him out of the way.
Right.
To see Timothy.
So if there's something that he did wrong, I would think it was just a bad judgment call, and he's going to beat himself up more than anybody could ever beat him up on his own. So
Yeah,
I think he's uninvolved completely.
I'm not gonna bash on him
For
because
sure.
I don't, he's visibly upset from what I could see.
For sure. Yeah, he was not okay with any of this. And I feel
Yeah,
awful
but
for him
gosh,
and
I
everyone.
don't care if you're divorced or if you have a kid with someone else. If you think your kid's being mistreated, gosh, you have got to take action. And speaking of kids being yanked from people and stuff like that, Janelle Evans got her kids took from her over David Eason, her husband, shooting that dog.
I saw that. They just took what is it, Inslee, I think yesterday or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like I'm glad. I don't want to say that they don't deserve the kids. I watch that stuff. Yeah, I know it's going to show, my husband thinks I'm ridiculous. He's like, why are you watching teens? I watched that from like when I was young. I watched them growing up, like,
Me too.
I stopped watching it because now all it is they get paid to act stupid and that drives me insane.
I know it. And they're all rich as hell.
Yeah. And I mean, I like some of them, but this is an example of where we pay someone to act like an idiot, and now she's standing by her husband. Oh, okay, yeah. So you just lost all of your kids, and you're standing by an idiot.
She has always picked men over her kids. She's always had losers. And David, he is a crazy ass. He makes all Southerners look stupid the way he acts.
The local sheriff said that he is one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous in the area. They have classified him as because he's psychotic and they don't know how he's going to act and what he's going to do. They had an order signed by a judge to go take Inslee from their house and they were afraid to do it. They were not going to go serve a search warrant.
I think he's got all that ammo and all the guns.
He's got an arsenal going on, and they're afraid of him.
My hubby, this is what my hubby said. Now, my hubby, he has guns and stuff like that, but he said someone that gets online and has to post about guns and their ammo, they got real problems. They got something wrong in their brain. Because my hubby's got guns and stuff. He doesn't do that.
Yeah,
what does he need all that ammo and all this? Do you think apocalypse is coming or something?
Yeah, to be stupid. Oh man, they're ridiculous.
And remember when the Parkland shooting happened that day? He posted a video of Janelle shooting a big AK.
Oh yeah, I did. I do remember that. That was a big old controversy.
He's going to kill her. He's going to murder her. I swear, I believe he will.
It's awful. Or one of the kids or something's going to happen. And I hate to hear that. She needs to leave him. You guys, this is just an example of someone that's in the public eye who has a lot of money. I don't know if she still does, but who has had a lot of money and still won't leave. Like, it's not just a money thing. Like, I didn't leave my ex when I should have because of money.
She had money before this asshole come in the picture.
Yep, she sure did. She supports him.
He has ruined her. Yeah. I mean, she was already messed up, but I'm talking about he has got her kids taken. She's got fired from MTV. Yeah. I mean, people constantly down her over him for putting up with it. Janelle's got issues. Janelle's got some kind of problem. Like, I mean, she's got the problem I used to have. I used to be attracted to the wrong kind of men that were just like David, controlling and abusive.
Yeah.
My first husband David reminds me of him.
Yep, mine too. And it's a habit you get into. You don't know anything different. Like, I was abused by my grandfather, and my mother and my father are still together. They've had rocks in their relationship. Everybody does. But I saw what it's like to get married, stay married, and I still was treated like crap in my relationships because, like, I was abused in one way, and that just kind of transferred over into my other relationships. I didn't know any different. Every guy I have ever been with, except for my current husband, Grady, every other guy has abused me. Every one of them. I didn't know any different. And then I'm like, oh, crap. Grady saved my life. I'm not even kidding you. I would not be here if it was not for him.
The only guy, the guy I dated, his name was Brett. He actually committed suicide in front of me. He was a great guy, but mentally unstable. And I just didn't know how words can affect people. We got in an argument, and I told him I was breaking up with him, and I hated him. And he picked up a gun, and by the time I walked in, he pulled the trigger, put it under his
Wow,
chin,
girl.
a
I'm so
12
sorry.
gauge. Yeah, so words affect people, but
Yeah.
he wasn't abusive, but he was mentally,
Yeah.
unstable.
I was looking
Um,
up yesterday. I was trying to find out because there was something I was trying to figure out what they designate like extreme mental illness or a severe mental illness. And there are three. One is schizophrenia, one is bipolar, and one is having manic depression. Um, Janelle is bipolar, is my understanding. So she does have a severe mental illness. I do not think she takes her medication. If she did, she wouldn't be acting like this. I think she stopped. And
right.
um, I mean, I'm on medication. I have PTSD. I do have depression. I have anxiety. I have issues. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm literally like a book of issues.
Me
Um,
too.
but it is what it is. Like, I'm
I'm
honest about
not.
it.
I'm not like a violent person like he is. Yeah, I've got
Oh,
issues
no.
too, but I've
Yeah.
got enough common sense now. I mean, now that I'm older, I would never put up with anybody abusing me.
Yeah. No, they say that,
It enrages me to be called
yeah.
a name. Like me and my hubby's been into it, and when he calls me a name, I have got violent on him over that before. Back in the day, we get along pretty good now, but that just triggers something in me where I've been. My first husband was abusive.
Yeah. Oh, no, I used to flinch all the time. And my husband was like, why are you flinching? I'm not going to hurt you. And I'm like, it's just a habit. I don't mean it. It's just I'm used to when someone's going to yell at me or freak out on me, I'm used to having to flinch because something's coming my way. And yeah, it took a long time for me to get out of that. And when I have bad nightmares or bad dreams or I get into this
Yeah.
PTSD cycle, those things come
Gosh, that
back and it's hard.
sucks.
Yeah.
PTSD sucks. I know. I live with that, and certain things triggers it, and these cases trigger it in me. It makes me really hateful. Well, it was. It's not so much in the last couple of days because I guess I'm kind of getting like toughened up, but it still bothers me. These cases about kids being abused because I know how it feels.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Nope, and it could have been prevented. It just pisses me off that this bitch knew that he was abusing Malia or thought he could have been, and she still left her there. And then they exchanged text messages, and I guess he's basically telling her he's doing something to Malia. I don't know what that said, and she still didn't do nothing. She could have called someone, her mother, a friend, the police.
Yeah, anybody. She did nothing.
Now her kid's gone and probably burned. He probably burned that little girl's body. How anyone could do that to another human being, especially a child. Yeah. I had no idea. They are sick individuals. And just because he doesn't have a criminal history doesn't mean anything. He just never got caught abusing anybody.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But anyways, girl, it's been great having you on this morning.
Absolutely.
I'm getting ready to get off here. I have put my dogs out right then. And I've got to get a few things done. My son's coming for the weekend. So
that's awesome. Is he out of school yet?
No, not yet. I don't know when he gets out. I think it's like June, early in June now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a gamer. He's a big gamer. He loves games. That's
awesome. My husband does too. He's not so much into it now that we have a little one, that takes up most of our time, but he loves them.
Yeah.
So I get it. Well, it's been great talking to you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you. I can't wait to do it again Tuesday.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you later, girl.
All right. Bye, girl.
Bye.
Okay, let me speak to the chat a minute. Sorry, guys, I don't get to talk to you a lot when Kay's on. Me and her talking. Hey, Paul, I'm so glad to have you here. You're so awesome. If you guys are not subscribed to Reporting Live from My Sofa, You need to be. He is so cool. He has the coolest, laid backest live stream ever. I love it. And he has a southern accent. I love it. You're so awesome. I saw that you did a video last night. I've not got a chance to watch it. It was about the trial that's going on, the Jones trial. Is that right? His name is Jones, right? Tim Jones Jr. or something. I'm going to watch it. Oh, thank you, Linda, so much. It's awesome having you here. Welcome. Linda's new. She's from Paul's channel. She's so sweet. Oh my gosh, yes, that trial. We have got to do a live stream together like Kay and I just did. My Google Hangouts was messed up yesterday. I kept trying to fix it and fix it. I finally figured out what was wrong. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping and chatting. I love you all so much. Hey, Cheryl, if I didn't see you earlier. And I will see you guys in the morning for some more crime and coffee. Have a great day. I'm going to go mess with my little stinking rooster outside. I see him on the neighbor's porch. I'm going to try to lure him back over this way. And tomorrow, I'm going to go get him some baby chicks if I can find them. Anyways, guys, love y'all. Y'all have a great day. Peace.